This is the Art Beauty Podcast, and I am your host, Amber Milk. Today, my fabulous guest is Mark Green. He is the founder of Camel Latte, and you know what? I always say this. On this show, we are unbranded, unsponsored, unafraid to tell the real truth about the fake shit. But today, we're going to tell the real truth about some pretty wild shit, and you will understand what I mean in just a minute. Mark, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Amber. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you are the founder of this company, Camel Latte, and I want to get to that in a minute. But I get, working in the beauty industry, I get a lot of pitches all the time from various people who want to come on the show. And when I heard that you had started a company based around camel milk, I was like, we got to talk about that. But before we do, I understand right now you're in Israel.
I am. I'm currently in Israel. This is where we produce our products.
Okay.
So I'm here quite often, taking care of things.
And, I mean, is it easier? I've never been to Israel. Is it like easy? Are there a lot of camel farms there? Is that?
Well, Israel is in the Middle East, or in the center of the Middle East, or on the edge of it, whichever way you look at it. So in general, yes. I mean, historically, there are many camels here and camel farms. But in Israel itself, and nowadays it's a very modern state.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Not really that many. So the big camel industry in the Middle East is really in the Gulf states. So Dubai, the Emirates, they have gigantic camel farms. But interestingly, they also use Israeli technology for milking and other things.
Interesting. Okay. We're going to get into that. My girlfriends went to Dubai, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. And I know they went on this whole camel adventure into the desert and said it was totally wild. I actually rode a camel twice at the Bronx Zoo, but I don't know if that really counts. And when I was looking into it, I was surprised. Like, there's a difference between like the 2-hump camels and the 1-hump camels, actually different breeds.
Which one did you ride? Do you remember, 2 or 1-hump?
I'm trying. It was at the Bronx Zoo, and they had this special. I was 8 years old. I believe that they were the 2-hump, because I think that they had kind of this, not saddle, but like this square saddle, maybe nestled between the 2 humps, but it could have just been a 1-hump.
Okay, I'm guessing it was a 2-hump. Let me just tell you the difference in 20 seconds. So there are two main types of camels, and one is called the Bactrian camel, not like bacteria, but kind of similar. Bactrian camel, and that one has the 2 humps, and it lives mostly in Asia and in the colder regions. So they also have a lot of fur.
Okay.
And the 2 humps. And then the desert camel is called the dromedary camel.
Okay.
And the dromedary camel has 1 hump. And there are a few other differences, but in general, both of them, they're mostly the same animal, and they are related actually to llamas and to alpacas.
All right. Llamas and alpacas are so in right now. So, I mean, I guess it's a great time for the camels to slide back into the scene.
Right. Very cool. Well, no, I just wanted to tell you that in the last summer, this last summer was COVID. So the summer before that, we were visiting family in New Jersey, and we rented an Airbnb, and it was actually a kind of like a townhouse inside of on the edge of a alpaca farm.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to take pictures with alpacas and play with them. And that was awesome.
Can I tell you, I'm wearing little alpaca slippers that are handmade by this woman on Etsy that I'm obsessed with. Alpaca is so soft. Oh my goodness.
It is.
My goodness. So, okay. I guess, part of what I love about being, working in beauty is that there's always some new, hot, crazy ingredient. And I guess, here in the States, I hadn't heard that much about camel milk products, but apparently it's really big in Australia, really big in Asia. Clearly the Middle East, camel milk is something that's been around for a while. And I actually heard that Cleopatra, they say, used to bathe in camel milk.
And so they say.
So they say. So why do
So,
you think
and
it's
there's,
taken so long to sort of come into the mainstream?
I think it's um, because it's camel milk is itself is it's a hard ingredient to come by, even if you have a lot of camels, because
Okay.
they're not like cows. Like a cow, you can milk a cow all year long, and they'll give like, I don't know, 40 liters a day. Now
Okay.
the camel cow will give milk only while it has a calf that is also feeding. And then in normal circumstances, for the camel cow to give milk, it has to be in a good mood, it has to be happy, and its baby has to be next to it, and preferably even start the milking process, like start feeding, and then the camel will give you some milk, but only maybe like 4 liters up to 7. So
Wow.
depending on the season. And so that's also why, even where there are a lot of camels, camel milk is much more expensive than
Right.
other types of milk, and harder to come by. So that's one of the reasons.
Now I'm just sorry, you just blew my mind a little bit. Like how long after they give birth and they have this calf can you actually have a camel that you can get milk from?
So the calf will after birth will live with a mother, in if in the wild, will live with a mother for at least, like, really close to the mother for, like, I think 13 to 18 months, something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know exactly how long they feed, but I think the whole time, like probably the whole time.
So in order for you
But
to get like camel milk, to farm that, how long can a camel after giving birth? First of all, you have to get the camel through the birthing process.
well, I mean, we don't keep the camels, so we work with a family-owned camel farm,
Got it. Okay.
and they have, I think in total they have about, 20, maybe 22 animals or so, and most of them are female.
Right.
That's usually the way it is. I think they have 2 males or something. And then, about half of these females at the moment have a calf, so we'll also give milk. And I mean, it's enough for us, and it's enough for, like, some local consumption, but in general, that yeah, in general, we work and we get it fresh from the camel farm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like go down this road, but it's fascinating to me, right? I mean, we go to the
Yeah.
store, you get a gallon of milk, and I don't think that I really think much of that. I had no idea how rare this was. Um, so okay, so maybe that's part of the reason why it hasn't been in the mainstream here in the States as much.
I Well, even though I think you will see much more of it in the future. I mean, there's a trend to revive this ancient ingredient, because it just has so amazing properties, like, and not just for the skin, but also, in general, for health.
Well, let's get into that a little bit. So what is it that is so special about camel milk that really you decided to create an entire company around it?
Well, with us, it was s- m- some years ago, I had just closed the business after I had a burnout, and I was going through. I just recovered from a burnout. I had the shingles and all these illnesses from all the stress that I was under, and um, we ended up kind of moving to get a change of scenery, and we moved to Israel. And I also from during that time I also developed vitiligo, which maybe you can see. It's night here where I am, so in the daylight it's easier to see, but it's like pigmentation. I lose the pigmentation in the skin. So vitiligo, for those who don't know, it's just basically a cosmetic condition, but it's there is no cure for it, and it is caused by stress, they say.
Okay.
And this is actually what Michael Jackson had, what made him sort of turn white.
Right.
And then so he tried to mask that first with a glove, and then
Sure.
he had operations to make his whole body white, so it wouldn't, the contrast wouldn't seem so. But it's really, I mean, it's nothing that really, it's really just a cosmetic problem. But of course it can go on your psychology as well. But
Yeah,
anyway,
for
so
sure.
so so I was looking for at the beginning when I got this, I was looking for what can we do about it, and then I kind of learned that there's not much you can do. But I did spend a lot of time at the Dead Sea, which is very good. People with eczema go there, and with all kinds of with psoriasis,
Yeah.
and to get that treated, and
that's
so
because for the very high salt content, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this right. The salt and the minerals there.
Minerals.
It's very known for that. And they have a lot of therapies, and also the sun. It's not. It's the lowest point on Earth. It's like 1,400 feet below sea level.
Mm.
The Dead Sea. So it's hot year round, but you don't really get a sunburn, even though it's 100 degrees outside.
Hey, sorry, I'm going to stop you there. If you're going to the Dead Sea, still wear your sunscreen, because this is a beauty podcast and we can't advise you not to do it. Didn't mean to throw you off your game. And Mark, seriously, thank you though for sharing your story with us. Stress is, we all know that stress, I mean, especially in this day and age, really can take a toll on the body. But thank you for being so candid with us about how it affected you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the time that we had a friend that that actually gave us camel milk, because he had a connection to a farm, and he gave us camel milk. He said, "Drink this; it's so healthy. Drink like a glass a day." Okay. And we did that, and I mean, after a few days, I was feeling much better, much less stressed, and like just more energetic all around. And so then we started researching into this. What is it? Is it detoxifying? What is this camel milk? Why is it so good for you? And then we found out, like, all this research opened up. So there's a lot of research that started in Israel by a professor who just recently passed away, just maybe a few months ago only, at a high age though. And he dedicated like the last 4 decades of his life to studying camel milk. And he's the one that found out, and this was like in the, I think, late 70s or early 80s, he had a patient, or he had a mother that brought her autistic child that was always, was having kind of fits and all these things, and was really not doing good. And he gave the child camel milk, and all of a sudden the child, like, miraculously, like, improved in all areas. And then they did a lot of research into it, and it's actually, autism has something to do with I think inflammation from gluten and from other it's partly a nutritional thing that creates some kind of compounds that affect the brain. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to try to explain it. But right now, I mean, if you Google autism and camel milk, there are, I mean, it's like a known treatment now.
Wow.
I don't know how many of the studies are clinical, how many are anecdotal.
Sure.
But this is like, it's, some people swear by it. And it's, it's similar, like they say, the keto diet is good for epilepsy and all that. But then there's, right. And then it works for maybe 80% of the people, but because it doesn't work for everybody, they're not, they still don't recommend it. They still recommend just medicine and drugs. But
right. Well,
that's an industry thing.
That's an industry thing too. But I have to ask you, what did that taste like, camel milk?
Right. So I'm going to say it doesn't taste all that different from cow milk.
Okay.
It tastes a little bit more salty.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more salty. And also it has less fat. It only has like 2% fat, which you would think it probably had more.
So is it like a little thinner? Like a little,
it's
like
a little, yes.
So I'm only going because I don't know. There's a place here in the States called Bear Burger, and it is all organic meats, but it's different kind of meats. So it's not your hamburger, but they've got bison and ostrich and so many different weird meats. And every time I go there and try something different, I have such a hard time because I think that my body wants it to be burger meat. I want it to be cow. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, would I try this? I mean, of course I would, but
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think if you had fresh cow milk that was just like very gently pasteurized and it's pretty fresh, you wouldn't taste much difference.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I make it shake with it and I put blueberries in it and some vanilla protein and it's awesome.
So how much camel milk now are you consuming?
So I only consume camel milk while I'm in Israel. I just buy
Okay.
fresh camel milk and I just have it here and it's just a treat. Otherwise, I don't have it like all year round or anything.
Okay. So how much is it there? I'm just curious on this. Like you go to a
So
store and do they just have it in the store packaged and ready to go?
You have to, you can only get it from a farm that is certified by the Ministry of Health to produce drinkable milk, because there's like, there are like Bedouin tribes and they'll sell you camel milk that they milk, but they don't have like the hygiene standards and you're not, it's not a good idea. But
right.
no,
so I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, you basically have to order it from the farm, and they have like a little distribution system, but they don't. It's not available in the supermarket here.
Got it. Okay.
It may, in Dubai, it may be because they have a very big milk production, and I think it's like a standard. It's really part of their culture there.
Right.
So there's a lot more, especially in the last few years. They started producing chocolate and all kinds of things made with camel milk.
Fascinating.
Yeah, no cosmetics though, because then we're coming back to that because I think it's not so easy to effectively put it into skincare. But we'll talk about
that. Yeah. Like how did you decide to go from, okay, I've tried this camel milk, I'm feeling better, I'm doing research and seeing that this is a really good ingredient.
I don't want to take your path away, but I think I just want to tell you like 2-3 more things about camel milk that it's being used for also.
Okay.
Because we talked about autism, and it's just interesting to know that it also has insulin-like properties. So if you're a diabetic, you can actually use it and you can drink camel milk and it'll lower your insulin levels.
Wow. Okay.
So, and it's the equivalent, I have it written down somewhere. I don't know but there's equivalent to whatever the insulin amount is. So that's also, an interesting fact, but you know what? I'm sorry. Let's.
No, don't apologize. It's all good. This is the way that this goes. We have conversations, and yes, we are a beauty podcast. But I like to know the source of things and how people come to say, hey, maybe we should put this into skincare. So full disclosure, I've never tried your skincare. I have never smelled it or felt it or anything. So I can't speak to that. I was fascinated by this ingredient that I was like, whoa, is this the newest, hottest thing? And then I looked and it was like, well, no, maybe this goes back, centuries of people consuming in camel milk and maybe even Cleopatra. So how did you decide to then put it into skincare?
Okay, well, our research showed that it's also that people over the centuries, as you said, have really used it on their skin to treat skin conditions. So anything like psoriasis, eczema, today, people use it for that. Again, maybe it's not, an FDA recommendation or anything like that, but it's anecdotal, but there's whole communities that are swearing by it.
Right.
And so when we found this out, we had one of our children, we have 3 children, and our second one was, so our children were small when we were living in Israel. And our second one, he had extremely dry skin. And I don't know how to explain it. Almost like if you like rubbed his skin, like his arms or his belly, it felt almost as if he had goosebumps. I mean, it wasn't as many, yeah. But it
is that like keratosis pilaris? Like keratosis pilaris can kind of feel like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
yes,
and also
okay.
we didn't have it diagnosed, but we were in the pharmacy, we were here, and then we were researching, and then we found out on the internet that somebody who had something similar with extra dry skin, they were on a holiday in Egypt, and they went to a pharmacy, and in the pharmacy they sold them camel milk cream. And they swore by it, and they say it worked wonders. And then we said, wait a minute, we have camel milk. Why don't we just put milk on him and see what happens? And we put milk every day a little bit. It was a little too liquid, so we had to like kind of like we try to blend it and whatever. But so we basically put milk on the skin, and it helped. We saw it helped. And then we started researching all this, and then we found out like everything that camel milk has been used for the skin. And then we're like, you know,
we should do this. Mark, I'm going to stop you right there, because I think before you get in trouble, we better introduce who the we is here, because I introduced you in this podcast, founder of Camel Latte, but there is actually another half of the founder, part of this we, who is
right, my wife.
There we go. We just listen. I'm a wife too, so if I made it 30 minutes into a podcast and my husband hadn't mentioned me, I'd be like, okay. So,
well, thanks for saving my butt today.
So you and your wife founded this company because you saw this worked on your son, and
well, so we saw that camel milk helped our son. And then we said, well, you know, because we tried other things first, and everything you try is like, it's so greasy, or it's so, you know, anything that's, think about creams for like diaper rash.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever used it. You don't want them on your fingers, you know, it's like, you can't get that stuff off. Or, you know, you know, a lot of experts say like the best thing you could actually put on your body is Vaseline. But do you want to wrap your whole body in Vaseline?
No.
You know, your clothes and everything. So we tried all kinds of things, and there was nothing really that either helped or that was, you know, or that it was effective enough. And when we saw that the camel milk, and because we were already like enthusiasts about camel milk in general, then we started digging into this, and we said, okay, well, you know, can there be cosmetics with camel milk? And then we saw that there are some labs in Israel that had experience with it. They were producing, you know, mostly soaps, but there were also some that were starting, you know, trying to do skincare and cream. And then we started researching, and then we started you know, and we ended up working with a lab. This took about, I don't know, it took like 2 years to have formulations and everything, until we finally said, okay, this is it, and this really works. And but yeah, so we work together with a lab in Israel. It's not our own lab,
right?
But we work very closely with them. And right, and then it's less than 12 months since we have our, you know, the final product in hand. And
so let's talk about that. So how many SKUs are in your line, or is it just one product?
All right, so we developed we developed a bunch of products already, but we only have 4 SKUs on the market.
Okay.
And they're all just skincare. So body lotion, body butter, a hand cream, and a foot cream. Now, the body butter is something, when you try that, and I'm sure you will, it's the lightest body butter you've ever used. So it's almost more like a cream, because the thing is with camel milk, the effects it has on the skin is that it gets absorbed very, very quickly by the first skin layer.
Sure.
And it transports all the other ingredients that are in the product are also transported into the skin with it. Right. So
is it like a high in lactic acid? Do you get some sort of exfoliation properties from it as well?
Exactly. It is high in lactic acids, but which is one of the mild AHAs.
Right.
So, you know, and that exfoliates dead skin cells and pumps and smoothens. But it's also, it has the camel milk itself has a lot of ingredients that, like you mentioned earlier, that in the cosmetic industry, there's always like new ingredients.
Sure.
Always like the newest thing, then 1 year zinc, jojoba oil, what have you. Always new things. And the thing is, camel milk contains most of these like naturally in one ingredient. So, right. For example, it has a lot of iron and zinc. So those are minerals that are essential for healthy nails, and it has zinc and magnesium, which is, for acne and good for acne. And it has a very high content of vitamin C. I think it's like 6, 7, 8 times the the vitamin C content of cow milk. And the thing is, the vitamin C it's very, and I know you talked about vitamin C in one of your recent episodes.
Just recently. I talk about vitamin C all the time because it's one of the things, it's like one of the four things that I feel like every skincare routine has to have. There's a lot of nice things to add, but vitamin C is like a really key component, the antioxidants protecting your skin. So this is great. Do you
Plus
feel like
it produces collagens,
Yes. And do you feel like the vitamin C in this product is really kind of enough beneficial to like help the skin?
Yes, it's a very high content on vitamin C.
Okay.
And now I don't know if you do a study, how it would compare to a chemically produced.
Sure, fair.
I don't know.
But this is nice because it's a natural ingredient. So in your products, are there other ingredients? I feel like there's such a push now to, clean, which is, we know is not very defined, but clean ingredients, and going more natural. Can you tell us about what some of the other ingredients are within these formulations?
Right. I can certainly tell you that. Just to finish, because there's camel milk has more ingredients. Camel milk has omega fats.
Okay.
Camel milk has natural lanolin in it.
Okay.
So if you use like a normal lanolin product on your skin, it's similar to like what happens with argan oil. It's good for the skin, but if you do too much, it just saturates the pores.
Sure.
And it just doesn't go through. And so the lanolin in camel milk, it's not a very high amount, but but it has the effect. But okay. All right. So our products, our formulations, we believe that whatever you put on your body, basically, or whatever you put on your skin goes into your body.
Absolutely.
Same as if you would ingest it. So everything ends up in the bloodstream, and all, toxins, environmental.
So is yours formulated without all the bad stuff, without the sulfates, without the parabens, without all that?
Right. Our products are completely natural. We only combine with other essential oils.
Okay. Wow. So this is it's like almost 100% camel milk and then essential oils.
Okay. You know how most cosmetic products, whether it be cleansing products like shampoos and shower gels, or skincare products, most of them actually have a very large quantity of water.
Yes,
they're
generally
basically
the
based
first
on water.
ingredient on many. Yes,
exactly. So, and what we did is we replaced a big part of that water with camel milk.
Great.
So
do you have any of the products there with you?
Sorry?
Do you have anything?
If you pause, I'll get them, because they're supposed
it's
to be next to me.
It's fine. No. It's fine. It's fine. I was just kind of wondering what the consistency is like. But you said the body butters is like lighter than a butter, almost like a cream like. And then you've got hand and feet covered, and then face cream.
No, a body lotion.
Body lotion. Got it.
Yeah, and they differ mainly in the extra essential oils, the additional essential oils that we add. But basically, our formulations is that our products have more camel milk than water in them, or about the same amount. So we're talking about around 30%, depending on which product.
So for people, we do have audience worldwide. Where do people get these products?
Okay, these products right now, because we're relatively new on the market.
Sure.
So in the US, we have a website, and it's called camelatte.com, which is it's spelled with a double M, a double L, and a double T. So that's CAMMELLATTE. Camel Latte. Double M, double L, double T. I hope that works.
That's great. And then worldwide, can they get them that way too?
We just released on Amazon. We just listed the products on Amazon, so you can find them there.
Wow, that's so great. Wonderful. I mean, once you get on Amazon, I feel like that, you're everywhere.
Well, you can't get around Amazon. You kind of have to work with them.
No.
But yeah, so, and but you will see, like, our products is, because of the camel milk, you notice the difference immediately when you put them on, like, because it's something like your skin that's kind of what your skin, we actually call our products like skin loving body lotion, skin loving body butter. It's because you feel like the skin loves it. It's like,
I'm amazed. Congratulations on that. I mean, I love that you can see that there's clearly such passion behind these products. And thank you for coming on to inform us all about, this ingredient that might, I want to say to a lot of people, this might be very much part of your culture. For me personally, other than the 2 camel rides I got to take up, at the Bronx Zoo, I didn't really know much about this. And then the more research I did, I saw that it was really so much more nutritious than a lot of cow milk. And again, if it was good enough for Cleopatra, I'd say it's good enough for all of us, isn't it?
Yeah. That camel milk also contains lactoferrin. And there was just it's like 25 to 30 times as much lactoferrin as cow milk.
What's lactoferrin?
It's like a protein that has antiviral, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antifungal properties. And so it's especially good, like in our foot cream or in the hand cream, and it actually protects you. And there was just a study released like a month ago in Taiwan where they tested, where they showed that lactoferrin is effective against COVID-19.
Okay. Well, then you, my friend,
of course, I can't
come into the market at the right time.
I can't make a claim that you use that and it protects you from viruses, but camel milk definitely has antiviral agents, and so that's a fact. So if you're using a lot of hand sanitizer, it makes sense to to moisturize afterwards anyway.
And follow up with the camel milk moisturizer will just give you maybe a little bit more bang for your buck. I do want to say this though, because we do keep it real, and then I have to kind of start to wrap things up. Because my audience is smart and will say, well, camel milk is also known, for a while it was like MERS was a big problem, right? So the Middle Eastern respiratory, which is similar to SARS, is actually transmitted through camel milk. However, not if it's pasteurized, correct?
Correct.
So all of your products, just if we're going to make claims how good it is antibacterial, I just want to be straight up with people that also that all of your products are with pasteurized. And I think even if it's
unpasteurized, pasteurized camel milk, but it's pasteurized at a low temperature.
Okay.
So we say it's gently pasteurized, but it has like an exact temperature point, which is kind of like the lab secret, what that temperature exactly is. But yes, of course.
And like you said, it passes the health ministry so that we can feel good about putting this on our bodies. Mark, thank you so much for coming on today and to just giving us so much information and totally nerding out with me on all things camel. I wish you the best of luck with this. And, I can't wait to try this product.
Thank you very much, Amber. And I can't wait to get your feedback.
Okay. And again, if you want this product, you can go to camellatte.com. That's 2 M's, 2 L's, 2 T's. CAMMELLATTE, like my favorite drink. .com. You can find it on Amazon. And of course, if you've got any questions that you want us to ask or follow up on, you can always reach out to me on, you can find us on Facebook, on Instagram at Art Beauty Podcast, or you can email me hello@artbeautypodcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.